Accion Lab Innovation Summit 2019.
So I'll quickly run why we created Breeze. The first part is digital user experiences. Personalization and conversational interfaces are the two key aspects that we want to be able to provide for. And both of them have components in Breeze which allows you to build conversational interfaces as well as create personalized experiences using AI. We realized that a large part of our effort to build UI is wasted in building things like forms, reports, and templates. So we've created a very flexible forms engine, reports engine, and templates engine. So the important thing in any of the engines, whether it's a forms engine, reports engine, templates engine, is it is a code generator. That means it will generate the code that you would have otherwise written, so that the engine becomes an accelerator rather than a burden to the application's architecture. We know that today applications are not built to last, they're built to change. The entire principle of microservices and event-driven architecture is so that we are able to keep changing applications really fast. So the two important aspects of business applications, entities and workflows. So what we have got is we have created two engines. There's an API engine, which basically helps you create an entity microservice almost out of the box. And the second is a workflow engine, which allows you to define your orchestration between multiple microservices or manual tasks, like conventional workflows, by using a BPM and diagram. We don't know how fast and how big our applications are going to get. But the important thing is about performance. So the objective of Breeze is when you start with the application, it needs to be scalable on day one. It needs to be event-driven on day one. And we need to be able to build for change, and we need to make sure that our user interfaces are exceptional. If you look at the blueprint, it covers personalized UI in the front end. It has an API abstraction layer, which allows the front end to be independently developed from the back end. In the back end, which is beyond the API layer, so this is the API abstraction layer, which allows the front end to be largely independent of the back end by using GraphQL as well as RESTful APIs. We start building the entire stack at the back end by using a loosely coupled architecture. If you're truly event-driven and events is your primary data model, then those events need to be persisted. And they need to be persisted in the data lake. All of these go in sequence, but if you have something like Breeze, you should be able to start from day one, doing all of this right from day one. If you look at a typical scenario of how we would build an application using Breeze, what you see here in white are everything that Breeze will provide out of the box. So you should be able to get a platform which allows you to build your personalized UI applications using your business rules in your entity and workflow microservices, integrating with your existing business applications, and being able to derive insights based on your business needs from the data lake. So each of these components that are in blue here are typically going to be custom-built components. And when we say custom-built, it is not necessary that you have to build them from scratch. Like I mentioned before, we do have accelerators or code generators which will help you to define your microservices, create UI components, define analytics or integrate with business applications. So everything is unit tested, everything is documented. In wikis, the code is documented. We have Swagger API definitions for each and every platform service. GraphQL is supported by each and every platform service. All of the components are event-driven and event-aware from day one. There will be features which are new features which may not be supported by the old platform, or some old features which may get redundant in future. So it's not a like for like. There will be feature changes, but we want to make sure that we don't create unnecessary technical debt. So we want to be able to use Breeze as a model which allows us to own and drive your platform services. Now, in addition to some of these open source engines, we ourselves have developed many of the engines that are incorporated in Breeze. Last year, we talked about Zephyr, which is a conversational interface platform. Alize is the personalization engine, which uses AI. We have built a notifications engine, a very, very powerful event response system, which allows you to respond to events in multiple ways. We have built the API engine, which is a code generator for entity microservices. The other aspect that you will not see, which are invisible parts of Breeze, is the automated deployment. In a microservices environment, you have hundreds of microservices. How do I keep track of versions of my microservices? How do I make sure that the right version moves from development to QA to production? So it's a non-trivial exercise. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to get this right. And that's the invisible part of Breeze. So we, of course, use a lot of these technologies to do that. If you look at the range of open source platforms we are incorporated as part of Breeze, it covers most of the best in class.
Accion Lab Innovation Summit 2019.